welcome to my dungeon. Okay, I have a question. Do y'all ever ponder the universe, or if you ever going through something, you ever do a quick little prayer to the universe or God or whoever you think of, do you just do a little quick little give me a sign or something? I do. Who could have seen that coming? The thing is I've done this kind of my whole life. I'm it's just give me a sign, I need just a sign. I need it to be such a specific sign that only me, I will know. And the thing is things have happened to the point where I have specifically said I need this to happen with this person on this specific, and then it happens and I'm oops. Sometimes things just happen and then you're that was a sign and I don't see it because you got the answer you didn't want, but you got the answer. And so anyway, there's little things that have happened like that in my life where, there was one time I went to it was a school vacation road trip. My mom let me use her camera, and back then you remember the pink Canon? I think it was Canon. It was a pink Canon camera. It was really cute, and my mom let me use it to go on this little retreat, with high school, and I took a bunch of pictures and I thought it was so fun, ha ha ha. And I was very careful with the battery. I was very careful with the memory card chip because it was really small, and I was very careful with the camera. I didn't want to scratch anything. I didn't want to break anything. I was very careful. It was not my camera. It was my mom's camera. I wanted to make sure that she would let me use it again in the future. I go on this little retreat, take a bunch of photos, have so much fun, come home, and I'm unpacking everything. I open the little camera case that I had the camera in, and I get the camera out, I get the battery out, and there's no little camera card in the little bag. And I was where is it? Where is it? I lost my mom's memory chip. Where is it? So I start going through my backpack. I go through my duffel bag suitcase thing. I don't really remember which one it was, but I go through everything. I go through my purse. I'm frantic. I call the school and I'm I think I left my, camera memory chip on the bus. Who do I call? They're oh, you have to call, we rented those buses. You have to call this. So I called the bus number and I was please, I think I left the chip. They're there's no way to find it. It's probably just lost. And I was I was God, please let me find it. Please, please. And I was I searched everywhere. To this day, I searched everywhere, right? Because it was a little fake leather pouch, right? And it had one of those little pockets. I peeled that thing back. I looked in there for the memory chip and it wasn't there. I was frantic. I was about to get ready to apologize to my mom and I was God, please. So I get the little camera pack and I flip it upside down and the memory chip falls into my hand. And I was you're real. At that, when I was a young youth, I never doubted, but as an adult, it gets a little harder, but I just remember that moment because I genuinely looked everywhere and I couldn't find it, right? So, I've had stuff like that happen, throughout my life. There's a moment where I was I went to a really busy restaurant and I was going through a really hard moment in my life and I was God, please, if you're putting me in the right direction, please let there be parking right out front. I really need this, and there's parking right out front. There's never parking. Ever, ever, ever. There's never parking. It is on a main highway, nothing. And there was parking and I was all right, I don't like that I'm in this section of my life, but you know what? There was a spot, so I guess I'm going in the right direction. I don't know. Anyway, I know what you're thinking, Kate, this is crazy. Shh, shh, shh. It's just story time. Sometimes things work out in life and you're whoa, whether I am talking to God or the universe or something, I like to think that I'm talking to God. You can make your decisions, I can make my decisions, or whatever, it's a happy little haha. Once again, Kate's been going through it. Kate's been having less than fun time. There's been thing after thing after thing after thing after thing after thing going on in my life and I'm and there's one thing that has kind of been a shadow over me, I guess, a dark cloud. And it's just I really miss the freedom and the innocence I had in my childhood. When I was 13, when I was watching Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker and eating a box of Girl Scout cookies in the basement with my brother, being hee hee, wow, Hayden Christensen's so hot. My brother's ugh, you're such a freak. And I'm haha, he's so hot though. And my brother's ugh. So it's just I miss that, and I miss my childhood home, and I miss my dad being alive. Not gonna get into that. But anyway, so I was kind of thinking to myself, what would be great, would be so nice, is if I found my old comforters from my childhood, Because if you don't know what a comforter is, it's a quilt or a duvet, it's like this. It's just a fluffy blanket that doesn't, the skin doesn't peel off like a duvet does, This is a duvet cover. Anyway, so for weeks, in the back of my head, I've tried looking up, and in the past I've tried looking up my bedspread that I had, because I distinctly remember it, and when my parents got divorced, they threw all of my stuff away, so I didn't have much anymore. My bedspread that I loved so much that my mom got me, and it made me feel like I was, becoming a teenager, because I originally had butterfly, comforter stuff. It was it was cute, but it was very 11-year-old girl. And when I became a teenager, my mom got, it was like, it had like purple and orange and neon blue and like green and pink, and it had streaks of like color through it, and then it had like little mirrors like as flowers, like the shape of a flower on it. It was like velvet, and it had different like textures. It was so cool, and I loved it, and I loved how colorful it was. And then it was gone after my parents' divorce. It was gone. Now in the age of the internet, I was like, oh my, I bet I can find this. I bet. So for years I have been searching, but the thing is I don't know where my mom got it. And so it's like I type in rainbow comforter, and like, because now everything is done through like, you know, Shein or something, like it's AliExpress. It's like, here's a rainbow AI generated. I'm like, I've had no luck. So then one day I was scrolling on TikTok and I started seeing people with like, you know, oh, I have this Macy's catalog from the year 2010. Let's look at all the zebra stripe stuff that people had in their bedroom. Have you all seen those TikToks? So I was watching it and I was like, man, I wish my bedspread would come on here. Like, I wish I could, I don't even know what store. I don't know if it's JCPenney's, Macy's, Kohl's. I was like, I don't know what it came from. But so anyway, I would watch these videos and it was kind of cool. Like, it reminded me of stuff of like, you know, my friend's room used to be green, brown, and teal. And so like, I would see stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of my friend. And you know, like I'd see 3 in one day and I wouldn't see one for months, and I'd see another one. Anyway, I was having a particular hard night, and I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I need to know that it's gonna be okay. You know, I need to know that my like dad's watching over me. I need to know that I'm doing okay. Like, even though this is like, I'm going through it, like I need to know that I'm gonna be okay, you know, like man, if I could just like know that I'm gonna be okay, like if I just had like a sign from like my childhood or something, you know. So I'm scrolling through TikTok, I'm not thinking about nothing, just scrolling, doom scrolling if you will. I just keep scrolling and I scroll past one where it's like, oh, reading a JCPenney's catalog, blah, 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 from 2005 and 2004, I don't know, something. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And it had like 400 likes, and I was like, I don't, whatever. And so I scrolled up and then I was like, no, I'm gonna watch it. So I scrolled back and I started watching it, and like, you know, they just showed a lot of stuff that like, I was like, oh, that my friend had that. I remember my friend having that. And then it showed like the beads that hung down in the doorway. I loved those. And like my brother hated them because my brother, he and I shared like a Jack and Jill bathroom. So like his room was here, my room was here. We had a hallway of bathroom that was sinks, and then we had a bathroom that had the toilet and the tub. So we would run into each other's rooms, and whenever because I had the beads hanging in the bathroom, he would run into my room and he would like choke himself out because he'd run into the beads and they'd get tangled at the bottom, and then he'd clothesline himself. And so I would laugh because it was funny. He's like, you're laughing, I almost died. And I was like, yeah, well, stop running through my beads, you're gonna break them, which he did twice. So anyway, I saw like the beads and I was like, oh, that's crazy. You know, so then I kept watching. And then all of a sudden the TikTok pans to my bedspread. This TikTok had like 400 likes, maybe like 2,000 views or something. It was not like a popular TikTok. And the sheer shock that I felt. Maybe I'm not remembering this right. Like maybe the bedspread's something else. Maybe the blah, 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 blah. Like I'm never gonna find it. I had given up. Like I hadn't seen any of those TikToks in weeks, and then, you know, I just stopped thinking about it. It goes through months of, you know, thinking about it, not thinking about it. And then there it was. I was looking at my phone and I instantly started crying because I was like, how in the world did I get a TikTok that had no hashtags, that had the exact bedspread I wanted? How is this possible? Like, you know, like I have Googled everything. I have Googled everything I possibly could, and I never found this bedspread. Tell me how a TikTok being like, oh, I got JCPenney catalog from blah, 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 the 2004, and then they're just scrolling through it and they're showing like the cheetah girls, and then all of a sudden there's my bedspread with the little mirror flowers and with all the velvet and then the silk and then everything else with the pillows. And I sat there in awe and I cried so hard because I was like, my childhood was real. You know, like the good part of my childhood was real. It's not just a memory that, you know, I made up to cover the bad memories. Like I have good memories. I do remember a lot of my childhood too, but it's just like, I don't know. It was like, it was real. There's the catalog. I saved a video, so if I ever feel sad again, I can go look at it. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, it's just like, what are the odds? Like, and I know, okay, the odds are pretty high. No, they're not. Think about it. What are the odds? A random TikTok account randomly had the catalog. And I know, okay, well, your history, yeah, months ago. I hadn't seen one of those. And also, yeah, sure, say I'm watching those. What are the odds that they had the exact magazine, the catalog, from the exact store? Because there's JCPenney's, Macy's, Kohl's, Dillard's, Sears. Like, imagine all of the stores, and they had that exact one for the exact month, for the exact year, no hashtags. When I try to Google anything, I Googled Macy's, blah, 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 JCPenney's, blah, 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 mirror, rainbow, duvet, 2004, like, you know, I looked everything up and nothing ever came up till that TikTok. So you know, sometimes you can ask the universe for a sign and it will give it to you, and then you will cry, and then you'll start questioning everything else you do in life, and then you're like, well, I don't know what I expected. Here we are. I don't know. I know it's not really like a story, but like out of all things in life, that was one thing that I was like, it completed me. You know, it completed the questions and it just made me feel really good. So I wanted to share it with you. But have you ever experienced like, oh, I need a sign involving, I don't know, a daffodil, and then you're like, oh, there's a daffodil. Wow, you know, have you ever experienced anything like that? Any cool stories? Any like childhood stories? Thanks for listening to my story. I hope you have a fantastic day and safe travels. Okay, bye.